Hello and welcome to this live workshop where we're going to be talking about how to become a web designer in 2023. So, before when I became a designer, it was quite difficult because a lot of the work that I had to do was in HTML and CSS. But now things has changed because if you take a look at the page builders that we have now, it is super amazing what we can do with these pieces of software like Elementor, Divi, and so on. So what I want to talk about today is, as these programs have become fully featured with so many things that you can do in them, it has also come with a lot of complexity. So if you want to get into designing websites, this can be a bit of a challenge. So I want to share with you tips on how to get started easily if you are a designer. I have some tools I'll be talking about, and I'll also share some tips and tricks on how to get up and running super fast. All right, so at any point, if you want to ask me any questions, you can go ahead and do that. Just ask me in the comments box. I'll be looking at the comments every now and again to make sure that I respond to everything. But I'm really excited about this because this year I've started with a lot of tools that can enable us to design these websites super fast, but also have a bit of a workflow behind it. So, for those of you that have just joined, that's awesome. I can see here we have quite a few that are joining in. So let's dive straight into the content and let's talk about how to become a web designer in 2023. So if we take a look here, typically this is a WordPress website. So what are we going to do is I want to show you really the process of what most people do when they start designing their websites. They'll come over here to their pages, click on add new, and then they'll start working on their new page. So let's just call this page new page like that. And then they go straight into the builder. Now, this is a challenge because, when you go straight to the builder, you are saying that you are ready to start designing the website. But if you design it this way, it's a bit tricky. And I'll show you why. So over here, I'm going to say build from scratch. And this is where now we can start entering or adding all our content. So let's say I want to add a bit of text. So we're going to come over here, add our text module like that. So let's snap this over to the left because it makes it easier for us to work. All right, so you notice that we have our text here. Next, let's add another module. So this time, let's say this is a button. So this will be like the process of actually building the website. So now that you have these two elements on the screen, this is the time now to go in and start customizing this. So I want to show you or teach you how to do this effectively, because if you don't do this, it's going to be a big problem because you're not going to have consistent websites. Now, quick story here. Last year, there was a time where I did some live reviews of websites. I'm sure some of you remember this. Now, what I noticed was a lot of the websites had inconsistent headers and inconsistent font sizes. This is a big problem. So you need to create what are known as presets. Now, let me show you how to do that. So over here, let's go into our text module. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and stylize this. So I'm going to come over here. Now, the quickest way as well is to just click here on this paintbrush icon, and this will take you into the actual settings. So let's say I want to use a font here. Let's try Montserrat. So here it is. So let's say that's my font. I'll have to come over here and increase my size, perhaps maybe even the line height a little bit so it's easier to read. I may also want to change the color here. So I could go with, gray is actually very good for your colors, for your text. Okay, so I'm going to go with 59, 59, 59 for my text. And what I may also want to do here is I want to take a look and see if this looks great on mobile devices. So you'd click on this little icon here and then go to tablet. So we can see here on tablet, it's very easy to read. That's fine. On the phone, yeah, I think it's fine, but we can reduce it a little bit, maybe to about 15. Yeah, I think 15 works because 14 here, in fact, 14 works great. Let's leave it at 14. And the line height here is fine as it is. So now we know that our font is great. It's going to look great on our mobile devices. So what you need to do at this stage to have your font become consistent throughout is to make sure you make a preset of this. So I'm going to say, okay, create a new preset from current styles. And then I'm going to call this new paragraph. Okay. This is very, very important. So now that I've set this to new paragraph, you can assign this to default. So every time you add a paragraph text, this here will be applied. But for this example here, I'm just going to say save changes. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to now create another paragraph here of text by clicking on this plus button and searching for text. So here it is. So you notice that it's going to come with its old settings, which is the default that comes with Divi. But if I come over here now to the presets, I can go ahead and say new paragraph and boom, just like that, my text now has been customized. So this is very, very powerful. Now you can do this with any module on Divi. So you can do this with buttons, you can do this with number counters, pretty much everything, right? So you would need to go through the whole process of setting up all these presets. It's very, very important you do that because this is going to enable your website to be fast. You're also going to have a professional looking website and also a very consistent website. So this is tip number one. So let me just check if I have any questions so far because it's very important that, right, is this working? Right, guys, if you can hear me loud and clear, let me know because right now I don't see any comments at all. But I can see that people are here live. Can someone type something, please? Just to make sure that this is working okay. All right, so let's continue on. So now, this process of adding all these presets can take a long time. It can take a very long time. And you can imagine, you also need to have the knowledge of how to use Divi in order for you to go in and do this. Because if you just go in and create these presets, you'll notice that maybe you've created a preset for the whole website, but it doesn't actually work correctly. So this is where now I came up with an idea. I thought, you know what, why not spend like a couple of days and create all these presets so that I make it easier for anyone that wants to start designing websites. So this is where I came up with a product called Divi Design Guide Pro. In fact, I have a link to that in the video description below. It's only going for $27, but it's going to save you a lot of time. So let me show you how it works and how you can apply it in your web design process. So I'm just going to come over here and I'm just going to grab my my files here. Okay, so let me just close out of here. So what you want to do is to create any page on your website. So I'm going to get rid of this. And I'm going to add my styles here. So adding the Divi Design Guide is very, very easy. Now you can see here I have my files. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to go into my file, which is this one here, the Divi Design Guide Pro. So once you download it, this is what you get. You double click on it. So there's two files here. There's the colors and you also have the actual Design Guide Pro. So installing it is very easy. It's just drag and drop. So you can just drag and drop it here, just like that. And now you have this pop-up. So all you have to do is to make sure you click here where it says import presets. And I mean, I don't have any content here, so I mean, you can just exclude that. But the most important thing here is to import the preset. So once you've clicked here, you just click on import Divi Builder Layout. And this is going to import all the presets onto your website. So I already have a page with the presets. In fact, let me discard and exit and show you what that looks like. So in my case, to make things easier, I've called the page style. because that way it's easy for me to find. Okay, so I'm going to go to my pages now, and let me show you what that looks like. So here it is. I'm going to say view. Right. So these are all the presets that I've made. I have created heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, 4, the paragraph text, also the quote, and I also have some buttons here which have a basic hover effect. When I scroll down here, we also have these notices here, which are ideal if you want to add notices on your website. You don't have to recreate them. And then over here, we have our blurbs. Now, I think this is the most used item on Divi. So you can see here we have different styles that I created here. So I think all in all, it's about 9. This one here has a hover effect when I add my mouse over it. So these are the different styles that we can use. Further on here, we also have our countdown timers. We also have our bar counter. All these are created for you ahead of time. Here we have testimonials. We also have our call to actions here, and also our styles for our images. We also have video styles here. So this one here is for when you have a dark image, and this one here is when you have a light image. So as you can see here, we also have our blogs, and we also have our social media icons. So pretty much everything is designed for you. So if you wanted now to create a new page, or you want to start creating your website, let's go over here and create a new page. So I'm going to say, let's say this is the home page. Okay, I'm going to use the Divi Builder. And I am going to build this from scratch. Okay. So what I've done here is I've left this open because it's always good to reference it as we're designing our website. So it's very, very important that you leave this open so I can reference it at any time I need it. And then over here is where I'll be working on. So, so far, any questions, guys? Any questions so far? Okay, so I can see here the chat has lit up, and I'm glad that it's working. Hey, welcome, guys. Really appreciate you on this live workshop. Okay, so as I mentioned, we have this open here in a new tab, and I can now start designing my page. So when we start designing here, the first thing we need to do is to add our section padding. Now, our section padding here is very, very important because sometimes when we create our content, in fact, you know what, before I add this, why don't we start adding all the content that we need to add over here? So I'm going to go into my row and add 2 columns. So I'm going to go with something basic here. I'm going to now add my text like that. So any hero area on your website needs to have a text area here, which talks about the call to action and what the website is about. So I'm just going to grab a bunch of text here like that. Now, you don't want to have a website where it just has a bunch of text and it doesn't even let anyone know what the website is about. So it's very, very important that you have this part here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to highlight this text because that's going to be my heading. I'm going to set this to heading 2. And my paragraph text here is okay as it is. But notice what happens now. Remember, I mentioned that we have all our styles pre-designed for us. So notice what happens when I start adding my preset. So if I come over here, all I have to do is to choose text. So my heading is already done. My paragraph text is already set. So I can hit save. Now let's move on and add more things here. So I'm going to add a video here. So I'm going to search for my video module like that and select it. Okay, so I highly recommend that when you add your videos to your website, do not add it and not add a thumbnail to it. I mean, it's also called an overlay image. So you want to make sure you come over here to the overlay image, click here on this plus button, and then add your image. So let's say maybe I want to go with this one here. I can say upload an image. And that's going to be my overlay image for my video. Now you notice here that this button here is way too big, right? It's not working. So what you want to do is to come over here because I've already created the preset. So you want to come over here and choose your preset. So just by doing that, it has minimized the button size. So now it is looking much, much better. And by the way, if you want to add the URL to your video, you can come over here. You can delete that and then add the URL to your video. Okay, so let's save this. Now there's one thing that's missing here, and that is our button. So I'm going to click here on this plus button and add my button like that. So I'm going to come over here to my preset, and there's 3 types of buttons. So we have button 1, we have button 2, and we have button 3. So you can choose whichever one you want to add in there. So I'm going to go with button 1 and then save. Now, remember, I spoke briefly about the section padding. So when we look at this, now this is a design tip. We need to give our content here some white space. Now, white space means you are giving this some breathing space on this website. In fact, let me just show you quickly a website. I can go maybe to GoPro so you can see how, or even Apple. So I want to show you how designers actually use this. So when you take a look here, you notice that there's a lot of space around our content. And let me just see what I can choose. Let's go with this one here. Right, I think this is a good example. So you can see here, there's a lot of space around our elements. Now, this one here has a lot of animation, so I don't think this is a good example. Let's go to GoPro. I think they might have a good website here, which I can showcase what I'm trying to explain. Okay, so again here, you notice that we have a lot of space around our content here. Now, they chose to add this information all the way to the left here. I'm not a fan of that because it's spanning across the whole width of the page. So let's see if we have... Okay, so this looks like it has a lot of images. Right, so this could be a good example as well. So if you take a look here, we have a product here, and there's a lot of space around this product. So it helps give the focus of what the product is as you're designing your website. So we want to achieve this by adding padding the top and the bottom. So what I normally do is I would come over here to design, spacing, and I give this about 6%, like that. So now, if I save this, you notice that we have 6% breathing space. Sometimes I may use even 8, depending on what I am working on, okay? So it may seem like it's a lot of space, but you can see that it is much easier to read. It's much easier to look at because all our content now is right there in the middle. So what you can do as well is you can come over here to your section settings and create a preset. Okay, so I'm going to say create new preset, and I'm going to say section padding, like that, and then I can assign this to default. Okay, let's hit save. Right, another thing that I also do is I do the same to the rows as well. So I'll come over here to my row settings, come over here to design, sizing. So you can see here it's set at 80%. So normally I go with 70. So I'd go with 70%. And for my maximum width, I also go with 70%. Custom gutter width, I set this to 2 so that the content here is slightly closer together. So with this all set now, you may be thinking, well, how does this look on the mobile device? So why don't we do a quick check? I'm going to come over here, go to my tablet, and you can see here on my tablet that the spacing around my content here is still very good. I'm going to do that on the phone as well, and this is perfect. So you can see here the breathing space is really, really good. Okay, so I'm going to come back here to my desktop. So here we have our presets, our row settings. I'm going to set this as a preset as well. So I'm going to say create new preset from current styles. And then I'm just going to say row settings. Apply this to default and save. Okay, so let us see now what happens when we add another section. So I'm going to click here on this plus button, add a regular section. This time I'm going to go with, what should we do? Okay, let's go with 2/3, 1/3. We may change this as we design. So to distinguish the two, I like adding a slight color here to the background. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to add a very light gray just to show that this is a different set of content like that. Very subtle. So let's go ahead and save. So now, in fact, this is a bit too light. Let's go ahead and just increase this a little bit so that we can see the difference. Okay, F2 works fine. So automatically now you can see that we have our 8% here on my sections. And this is brilliant because I don't have to go in and keep doing this every single time. And I already can see that my row here as well is going to be similar to what I have here on the top because it's also a preset. So let's say we want to add some blurbs. Okay, let's, so this could be the features. So let's add our blurb. So I'm going to select this one here. Right. Again, you notice that this comes in by default with this style. But if I come over here to my guide, when I scroll down to my blurbs, I can now choose which one I want to go with. So I could go with this one here, this style, that style. I could even go with this one. So it just depends what I want to go with. Okay. So let's say I want to go with this one here, number 7. Let's do that. So I'm going to come over here, go to my preset here and choose number 7. Right. So right away, we may notice that there isn't much that have changed here. All you have to do is to come to the background and change your color. And now you can see that my background color has been applied. Now, the reason why I left it as it is because I want to make it easier for you guys to go in and add your colors. Okay. So let's stick to white because I think that works better. And then all I have to do now is to come to image and icon and add my image. So let's say I'm going to go with this one, upload image, and my image now has been added in there. And let's go to our content here, because normally on our features here, you don't want to add too much text. And let's just say feature 1. Great. So we have our feature 1 here. I'm going to save that. And that is my blurb. So it makes it easier because I didn't have to go in and make a lot of changes because everything here has been designed for us. Now, at any point, you can always go in and say, you know what? I don't really like that anymore. You come over here to your blurbs and say, okay, let me go with style number 2, right? But this one here has a background. It's similar to what I had. So let's go with, let's choose a different style. Let's go with, say, 5. But anyway, that one is not ideal. So instead of going through all of them, why don't we just come over here and take a look at what we have. So I'm going to go with this one here, number 1. I'm going to select that. And already you can see that that really stands out. It's got the background color already. So this one works great with an icon. So let's make sure that we choose our icon. So I'm going to go to my solid icons here. And which one should we go with? Let's go with, okay, let's go with that. Okay. So our icon now has been added. And that's our first feature. So I'm looking at my the comments here, and Ken says bought lifetime membership, but it looks like I can't get everything. That shouldn't be the case, Kent. Did you just buy this today, or was this a purchase you done some time ago? If that's the case, please just drop me an email to mac@funnelstoincome.com so I can have a look at it. Okay, Kent? And I'll make any adjustments to your account and make sure that you have access to everything, okay? Right, do we have any more comments here? Anyway, guys, as I continue with this, if you have any questions, please ask me because I might be going really fast here. So do ask me if you have any questions, okay? Okay, so why don't we continue here with our design? Okay, so we have our first feature one here. So what I normally do at this case now is I just duplicate this twice, or in fact, what you can do is you can go into your row settings, right? Delete these two because they have nothing on them, and then just duplicate this one here like that. And just by doing that, we have our features. So all you have to do now is to go in, change this to, say, feature 2. And we also need to change the icon. So you're going to come over here and change the icon to a different one. So this time I'm going to go with, okay, let's go with that one. Okay. Then I'm going to come over here, do the same. This one here is feature number 3. And let's change the icon as well. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys can agree with me that this is much, much easier to design our website this way rather than going in and setting up every single item as we're designing our site. Okay, so now that we have this, we also need another row. So this time it's going to be a single column, and we're going to add some text to this like that. And let's paste our text. Oops. Grab my text from here. Now, it's a good practice that when you design your site, you definitely have descriptions to your titles. I mean, to your sections, because this just makes it easier for people to see what is going on throughout your whole website. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to highlight this and set this to heading 2. Or maybe even heading 3, okay? So all I have to do now, because we have our presets already, you can just come over here to our presets and choose text, right? And then I just need to center this by coming over here to design. So we may need to do this a few times. Okay, there we go. So I've centered all my text. I can now save this and then just drag this to the top. So now I have context now to my design. So I have my first part here of my design. And then if I go down here, again, this is my features. Looking great. So you may say, you know what? I want to have a dark background here instead of having this light background. It's easy. All you have to do is to come over here, go to your background, and let's change this background by adding our background color. In fact, you know what? You can even add a gradient here, because that can even be a bit more exciting. But you know, when you use gradients, you want to make sure that it's very, very subtle. Okay, you don't want to make your gradients very, very crazy, because the idea here is to have great contrast. Okay, so I want to make this a lighter gray, but in a very subtle way. I'm sure you can see that it's very subtle here. And then what I'm going to do is to change my angle here. Like that. Okay, so you can see now that our text is a bit difficult to read. So all I have to do now is to go in. Even though it's a preset, I can still go in and change my colors like that. Do the same over here. And now I've quickly gone in and transformed my main hero section by just changing the color. Now, if you take a look here, it's looking great. Now, you may have noticed that I use very light grays here. Gray is very important when you design, because you want to make sure that you have very subtle designs here, which don't have too much color. Okay, so our call to action is this color here, and we also have this blue throughout our design. So let's continue on. Let's add another section here, and this time it's going to be a regular as well. Now, what is very important here is, as you're designing your websites, in fact, let's save this because I don't want to make a mistake and click away, and all of a sudden I've lost everything. So what is important when you want to design your websites is to make sure you have the right tools. So far I've given you the tool, which is the Divi Design Guide Pro, and I've also made it very, very affordable. It's only $27. The link to that is in the video description below. So that's the first tool you need. It's going to save you from creating all these presets, right? As you're designing your website. The next tool that I think is very, very, very important is your Divi Cloud. Okay, Divi Cloud is very, very powerful. So all these designs we're doing here, we can actually save these and use them at a later time as we're designing our websites. Now let's take a look here and see. Hopefully I can log into Cloud here. I'm going to say add from library, sign into Divi Cloud, and then I'm going to log in. Okay, so you can see here that I've logged into Divi Cloud and I have all these designs here ready for me. I can just go in and just start adding all these designs. So you can see here I have this Hero 1, right? So let's say I was pretty lazy, not lazy, but I want to save time designing my sites. I can just come over here and say, you know what? I want to use this. Click on it, and then I'm going to say use this section. I'm going to import. In fact, I'm not going to import any presets because I have all my presets here on my site. Okay, so let's delete this one here. Now, you can see I have my design that has been imported here ready for me to use. So all I have to do now, let's say this is a brand new website that I'm working on. All I have to do is to go in, go to the background, click on the image, and I can say, you know what? Let's change the image here to this one, upload image. And just by doing that, I now have a brand new section for my website, and I haven't spent time redesigning this, making sure it's mobile friendly. You know, that is going to take a lot of time, and you don't want to do that if you want to be a professional designer in 2023. You need to use these tools correctly. So Divi Cloud is very, very, very important. I mean, you've just noticed how I've just gone in and I was quickly able to add a background image and just change all my text. So this could be a totally brand new website for another client or one of my sites. So with this now, I can say, you know what? I want this to be my hero section. So I'm going to drag this to the top here like that. So in the future, I may want to use this, okay? Because maybe I like this style, because this one here is a totally different style. It doesn't have a video here. So I may want to use this here in the future. So all I have to do now is to save this. So I'm going to click here on these three little dots. And then I'm going to say save to Divi Cloud. Okay, so I'm going to call this Mac Hero section. Like that. And here it says save to Divi Cloud. That's correct. And I just need to make sure that this is added to the right category. So this is going to go to my section designs like that. In fact, I can even set it to my SK sections. Save to cloud. Okay, save to cloud. So I can delete this. And now I have this one here as my main one. So let's see if our presets are going to work. So I'm going to come over here, click on this gear icon, come over here to the top, choose my button here. Okay, so this doesn't work because it had its presets. So let me close out of here and add my new button. Then all I have to do is to add my preset like that. Okay, let's just get rid of that one. And let's add a bit of padding here. Like that. Okay, so now I have my hero area here designed quickly and easily. So that is, oh my goodness, I thought I was showing you guys. Oh my goodness. I'm really sorry about that. Okay, I need to repeat this one more time, okay? So let's do a Control Z. Okay, so this is where we were. This is the section, the hero image that I had. So I was talking about Divi Cloud. Okay, so to access your Divi Cloud, you want to click here on this plus button and say add from library. Okay, so I'm already logged in. Sorry about that, guys. I know you couldn't see me logging in for the first time. So what you would do is this gives you access to all your designs that you save onto Divi Cloud. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to delete this first so I can show you how to add it. So let's say I want to use this one here as my main hero in my design. And this is a brand new website. So I can just click on it and then say use this section and then import. But this time I do not want to import the presets. Okay, click import. So this is going to bring in my design just like that. And here it is. But if this is a brand new website you are working on for a new client and they have nothing to do with gyms, what you do is you just come over here, go to your background, and then click here on the image and just click here and change your image to a different one. So I'm going to go with that one here. Upload image, and just like that, now I have my image and it has a totally different context. I mean, look at that. Isn't that cool? So now with a few clicks and Divi Cloud, I was able to go in and just have a hero area here designed super fast. Now, with Divi Cloud, we downloaded a design from the cloud. Now, let me show you how to add all your designs to the cloud. So we spent time designing this, right? We've added our gradient here, and this is looking brilliant. In fact, I may need to swap this. So let's go back in here and swap the gradient. So let's have the dark part on the top like that, okay? So I think I prefer that. So let's say you want to save this to the Divi Cloud. So what you do is you click here on the three little dots and then say save to Divi Cloud. And then all you have to do is to give this a name. So I'm just going to call this Mac Hero. And I'm going to save this to, I have a folder that I created called SK Designs. I'm going to save. Click here and then save to cloud. So now my designs can be accessed through the cloud. Let me just publish this. Right. So I have this design here in the cloud, and now this is my new hero area. If I want to add my button here, I can just click here on this plus button here, and now I can add my preset just like that. Add a bit of spacing here. Okay, so now this is my new hero area. And let's say I need to save this as well to the cloud because I think this can be used again and again because most websites are going to need features. So again, I'm going to click here and I'm going to say save to cloud. And then let's call this Mac features. Again, I'm going to scroll all the way down here and save this to SK sections. So you need to be in a habit of saving all your sections as you're designing your website because this will save you time as you're building your website. So if this is a brand new website, you can always go in here, change the background color, and there you go. This could be a design for a new client. Okay, so let me show you another trick here as well. So let's say you want to save this actual item here, which is this blurb, into the cloud. So you can just click here on these three little dots, save to cloud, and then I'm going to say Mac blurb. Now I'm just doing this on the fly, but you guys can have a better way of naming all this, okay? So let's say this is number 1. So I'm just going to say Mac Blurb, oops, 1. Okay, save to cloud, and then you can choose your category here. So if you don't have a category for that, you can create a new one, and then I'm going to say these are going to be in my modules. So it's going to be Mac modules, like that. Save to cloud. Oops. Looks like I have to log back in because my session expired. Okay, now I'm back in. But anyway, that is how you save your designs to the cloud. Okay, let's save the page. Oops. Okay, we saved the page. Not sure what is happening there. Okay, anyway, so that is how you design these websites super fast. So we spoke about using the presets, which is the Divi Design Guide Pro. This is free to lifetime members, by the way. So if you're a lifetime member, you can access it for free. So using the Divi Design Guide Pro, it saves you time creating all these modules. And then you also use this in combination with the Divi Cloud. So you can save all these designs in the cloud. So you can actually go in and save this actual style guide here all in the cloud. Let me show you how to do that. So you can see here, this is a complete page. So let's say you've purchased this and you want to have access to it. So all you have to do is to enable the Visual Builder if you haven't done that already. And instead of saving sections, you want to come all the way down here. Okay. And first of all, what I normally do is I create a backup copy on my computer just in case. So you come over here and export it, okay? So now, if you click on this plus button, it opens up now our Divi Cloud, okay? So this is where now you can hang on, what have I done here? I'm sure you can I'm sure you can save this to the cloud from here. I am pretty sure I was able to do that before. Yeah, because you can see here, I have these designs here all saved up to the cloud. How did I do it? This is weird. Oh, there we go. So what you do is you click here on portability right here at the top, and then you can say import to cloud. And then let's go to that file, which I just exported. So I'm going to come over here and let's go to our Divi Design Guide Pro. Where is our folder? I think it's in my downloads. There we go. And here it is. That's strange. Okay, you know what? Why don't you just drag and drop it there? Okay. Import to cloud. That's strange. Why is this not working? I thought I had it for a moment. Isn't this crazy, guys? You know, from using Divi, I've just gone blank. Okay, this is loading from the library. Okay. All right, we'll come back to this. We'll come back to this. Okay. Anyway, we'll come back to this, but the quickest way I can say you could do this is by saving it by sections, but that defeats the whole idea of having the whole page saved up in the cloud. Oh, there we go. You know what, guys? Sorry for wasting your time. It is right here. This is what you need to click. But you know what? They need to do a better job of fixing this icon. It looks like a download icon. I'm sure you guys can agree with me. It doesn't look like it's an icon to save to the cloud, you know? Maybe have a cloud icon at least, you know? Anyways, so this is where you need to click, and then you give this layout your name, a name. So I'm going to call this Divi Design Guide Pro V2. Oops. Okay. And then what you want to do is to say save to cloud. And so let's create a new category. Okay, there we go. Design guide, save to cloud. Okay, so now when you want to design a brand new website, all you have to do is to log into your cloud, get that page, add it onto your new site, and there you go. You're up and running super fast without even like wasting a lot of time. So these are the tips that you need to go through in order for you to design these websites super, super fast. So let me just show you a few more examples here. So let's say I want to add another section, and this one here is a regular as well. But what I want to do now is I want to add some testimonials. Okay, so let's search for testimonial. So here we have our basic one. I'm going to come over here to the top. So you can choose your styles. You can go with style 1, or you can go with style 2. This one here is a bit too much. Let me go with style 1. I want things very subtle here. So I'm going to add my name. Company is, I'm just adding stuff here. Let's add our description text. I'm going to paste it in here. Finally, I need to add an image. Now, I don't have an image of myself, so I'm just going to come over here and see what I have. And let's add this guy here. Okay, so there we go. I've added my testimonial there. And save. So what you can do now is if you have a few to add in, you just come over here to your row settings, duplicate this a few times, and those are your testimonials. There you go. Just like that, you have your testimonials in place. And what you also need to do is to give this a title. So let's grab this above here. And then we can just click here and rename this. Okay, so those are testimonials. And then you want to have a brief description of the testimonials. Just like that. And boom, we're done. Okay, and because we created this section here from scratch, you can see it still has our 8% here, which means everything here is centered correctly. I mean, it has enough breathing space, and I'm sure you can agree with me that this is very, very clean when we look at this design. It's very easy to look at, and it's also very, very, very easy to scroll through. So let's say you want to add some frequently asked questions. Again, let's add another section here. And it's going to be a single column. So this is going to be an accordion like that. And let's go ahead and give it a style. So now I can see that it's just way too much gray. I think you can agree with me. As you're designing, these are the sort of things you want to look at. So let's change things a little bit here. We're going to go with the darker version. So that really stands out. Okay. Boom. So those are our frequently asked questions. And I can just duplicate this bring it all the way down here. And then I can just go in and call this FAQs. Now, do you see how quickly I'm able to just go in and add this content? Imagine if you have a client that wants a website designed super fast, and you can just drag these elements in so fast and just, design your websites, fast like that. This is really, really exciting. And I like the fact that, when you use this Divi design guide, all this stuff is designed for you. So I know you're probably asking, okay, so what happens now if you want to change these colors to match your own brand? Well, this is where you can go into your design and say, you know what, let me start with the background color. So we can say, okay, let's start customizing this. Change our color here to maybe that. So that's for the toggle. The text here is okay because we can read it. So let's change this as well to white so it's easier to read. Or maybe just add a bit of gray to it like that. You can come over here to this one here, which is closed. And we can also add a color to that. Yeah, let's say we're going to go with that. So you can see here, just in a few clicks, I was able to go in and update this very, very fast. But now the trick is to update this to make it your own preset and your own colors. You want to now come over here to the top and make sure you look for the check mark. So it means that this is the one that we're working on. You notice that when I take this away, this is the one we're working on. So you want to click on this icon here, like this arrow pointing up, okay? If you click on that, this now updates current styles. I'm not sure if you saw that. Let me do it one more time. I'm gonna click here, and when I hover over here, it says update preset with current styles. So if you click that, this preset we had before is going to be updated by this style now that you see here on this screen. And then once you say yes, that now replaces my colors with your colors. This can also apply to text as well. So if you add your own text, this will be updated, and it is very, very easy to work with this. So I know it comes with my own colors, but just like that, you can see you're able to go in and change this and add your colors. But you only have to do this once, because once you say save, it updates the whole website, and it also updates your preset library. So this is very, very important. Now, the other advantage of designing your websites this way is you are going to have consistency. You're also going to have a super fast loading website. So that is very, very, very important. Okay, let me take a look here at some questions, because I'm pretty sure we have quite a lot of questions here. Tech for HomeKit says from Italy, what online course plugin for Divi? Not sure I understand that. Tech for HomeKit. What online course plugin for Divi? Oh, I guess you're saying what plugin can we use with Divi for online courses? I highly recommend that you use LearnDash or Tutor LMS. Now, these two are very, very close. It's going to be very hard to choose one over the other, but I would say LearnDash. It's much, I've used this for a much, much longer time. So I would say LearnDash, but Tutor LMS is also very, very, very good. In fact, I have some videos that I am going to be releasing very soon showcasing these two products. But yes. Okay. Kent says, will this work well with a news website? Yes, this works with pretty much any type of website. So yes, the quickest answer to that is yes. Wayne says, can the entire website be saved in the cloud, or it is page by page? Unfortunately, it's page by page. So you would have to do this page by page. You can't save the whole entire website to the cloud. Michael Lewis says, I have LearnDash on 2 sites on our internal training, and it's amazing. Yes, absolutely. LearnDash is really, really good. I mean, in fact, like as I mentioned, I use this on this current website, Funnels to Income. Any more questions, guys? Okay, so if there are no more questions, let's wrap this up, and I will have another one of these probably next Thursday as well. So as I mentioned, I have this Divi Design Guide Pro. It's only $27. The link to that is in the video description below. And if you haven't purchased Divi as well, you can purchase it using the link in the video description below. All right, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. I know we had a few hiccups. That is because it's been a while since I did my live training or live show. So next time it's going to be flawless because I will have all the right monitors here so I can make sure that I'm showing you the screen that I'm working on. Oh, okay. There's a question here. The standard margins for rows. Now, my rows don't usually have any margins or any padding. I let the sections handle that. Okay, so I let the sections handle that. But if you have content, like let's say you have one row and then you have another row below it, usually the space between that is 20 pixels, but that's 20 by default anyway. But inside my rows, I don't normally touch that. Usually it's my width, which is 70%. So I normally set that to 70% and my gutter width to 2. Those are my 2 settings that I do for my rows. Kent, I'm not sure. I mean, in fact, you can't upload your whole entire website to Divi Cloud. You can only do this by modules, sections, pages, and rows. You can't upload the whole entire website, but I don't think that's a good idea anyway, because when you design a website, it's really the blocks that you need, which are your sections, your rows, your buttons, and stuff like that. But if you are a freelance designer and you want to design a brand new website, downloading a whole website and then start customizing it may take you even longer. So what I would do is I would set up a new website and then choose from, let's say, your 5 sections for your hero area that you've saved in the cloud, and then choose the one from that, and then that's what you use to design. But the whole website, even if the feature was there, I would not highly recommend that. Okay. So for you guys who are lifetime members, I have some exciting news. As you know, I had the freelance to income course. I started it, but then I realized that I wanted to build the toolkit that you can use as a freelance designer to make it easier for you to design these websites. So right now, I've released this Divi Design Guide. This is going to help you as a freelance designer. So I'm going to be adding even more tools to help us design our websites. So the next tool that I'll be releasing, or the next product, is going to be your design sections and your design rows. So as you're designing your website, so this one here is for modules, right? The next step now is your sections, because as we're designing our websites, we just want our blocks of sections that we can add to our websites. Now imagine this. Let's say you were designing a website and you already have your testimonial section, but you have 4 styles from that. So you can now design your website super fast by going into your cloud, choosing that section, and boom. So just like that, you can build your website in pretty much less than an hour, because you're going to have all your sections designed for you and also all your modules. So that is what I'm working on, and this is in the works. I'll be releasing that very soon. And again, if you're a lifetime member, this is going to be 100% free. So once we have all these tools, we are now going to be ready to go back to our freelance to income course with all these tools, because the idea here is to have the right tools in your toolbox to design these websites fast and professional. All right, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I'm going to leave this on YouTube. So if you've missed that, you can always go back and watch it again. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one. Take care.